Hey, thanks for hanging out and being patient with us, everybody. I hope this continues to be better. I apologize for that little break, but we are back. And you were all just here, so I'm not going to do the whole thing again. So let's hop back into this conversation about how we're going to fulfill Mordenkainen's quest. Where did we leave off?
We were talking. I know Julius mentioned that perhaps we could, regardless, tell Mordenkainen that the wizard was taken care of because we found out the wizard is just a demon. But he also brought up the idea that maybe what was really the issue here was the anti-magic area that was erected by those stones to keep that demon in place was the real thing that he was bugging him. And then Imba said that they could go back if that was the case. And then he agreed and picked up in bed, hugged her because he's small and tiny and cute.
Right. Excellent.
Correct.
Well, aren't you sweet? She just like pats his back.
All right.
I agree with all of this. If this is... Well, see, here's the thing. Mordenkainen doesn't worry himself about the trivialities of some insignificant wizard trying to do something. He especially wouldn't care about some tiny little demon trapped in an anti-magic box. So...
We'll find out.
We could find
that's
out.
the thing. Is that...
Actually, I have a solution.
Oh, do tell.
I can just ask him.
Charity you just see their face drop. They turn around and just keep walking through the tower.
No, I mean, we don't have to go back to ask him.
Charity stops in place, turns around, and is just like...
Are you going to use a magics?
Yes.
Magics.
Are you going to do the magics to ask him? Because that would probably be a lot more convenient for all of us if you just asked him now.
Yeah.
And also in the situation.
It is a spell that is relatively new to me, so I did not immediately come to mind. But yes, I will send him a sending,
Yes,
and see how he would like us to handle this in regards to his initial request.
I sit down and
Hawk myself. Eat some jerky.
yeah.
All right. What does your... This is the first time I think you've cast it with us. What does your sending look like, Scribbler?
Using my implement, so my staff, which glows blue, he rotates his hand around the head of the staff, and it glows and sort of forms a little circle around it. Kind of looks like a microphone when he does this.
Yes.
And it says, Mordenkainen, we have reached the wizard that you reported. It turns out that it is about Gura. It is trapped by an anti-magic realm and maybe trying to... Oh, how many? I'm counting words in my head. So
This is 25.
Yeah.
This is the rough draft version before you actually hit send on the email.
No, go ahead, send it. Mordenkainen's a smart man. I'm sure he can figure
You
it
can
out.
figure it out from there.
Yeah.
The last word will be escape.
The last word will be escape. Okay. Balgira. Okay. All right. So you have a moment. There's a moment of silence, and then you hear a response in your head, and it is indeed Mordenkainen, and he said, "Fucking useless Yugoloths. A Balgura, you say? Well, that's no concern of mine. Leave him, return, the information is enough."
So what did he say, Scribbler?
He
What
is
happened?
satisfied with our investigation. We may return post haste.
Charity turns again and puts a fine foot forward and begins.
All right. Anyone want anything else to do with this circle of standing stones in the Bagheera?
I hop up
No.
and I.
Oh no, Evie.
I'm just gonna double birds and walk away.
Good. All right. So,
So you do a double backflip.
so you all start heading back towards the tower, and as you get a little bit closer, you remember that when you last left, there was a small swarm of somewhat irritated Yugoloths at the base of the tower, because you all, after assuring one of them that you were not there to take their jobs, then proceeded to, take their jobs.
It took good germs.
So other than that, how are we? Are we just approaching as we did before, and hoping that
Well-
they've already forgotten, or what's the plan there?
I distinctly said this was going to be a problem for future Julius, so I guess this is now future Julius's problem.
So it sounds.
Seems like it.
I look at that swarm of creatures and I'm like,
Have they increased?
yeah, have they
Size?
increased? Yeah.
No, but none of them have left, as far as you can tell.
Yeah, we were gone for what, like an hour?
Why don't you all make me? This is such a weird thing, but why don't you all make me wisdom perception checks real quick?
Wait.
Ooh.
You know,
It's going really well
real
for
bad
some
at
of you and
those.
not so great for some of
Ooh.
you.
Oh, I don't even.
That
Roll
is
for
an
this to
18
be.
for me.
Okay. Scribbler.
Ooh.
13?
All right. Dop.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
Imba. Oh,
Yeah, 10.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
Imba.
6.
Excellent. Charity.
Charity has a perception check. 19.
19. All right. And Evie.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, so Evie, oddly, is the one who notices that there is one. Sorry.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah, no, I did. You notice that, and only because there were a ton of Mesoloths around, right? But there were 3 of those Nikoloths, the big green ones with the wings. There's only 2 of them here now, so one of them seems to have fucked off for greener pastures or something. But other than that, they're all still there.
It's bad.
So,
You know-
that was your problem. You talked your way into that mess. I'm just gonna book it, as it were. Anybody have a problem with me just booking it to there? Because, like,
I mean,
I mean, yes, but we can't stop you.
we can't, yeah, there's nothing we really can make you say, no, Charity, don't stop, come back. There's nothing we really can do in that sense to make you not do that.
that's fair.
Unless you would do it for these baby blues. And he bats his eyes at you.
Oh boy.
They're not baby blues, by the way. They're just like.
I was gonna say.
No blue eyes.
I have 1 slot left to do this, so
To do what?
I have 1 spell slot left to do that. So
Mhm.
to get me over there quick. I'll be fine. We'll all just walk it. That's fine.
Oh, we're good. You know what? I'm gonna go full bodyguard, I think. Are we
boy.
pretty close? Are we pretty close at this point?
Sure.
I'll circle around the side too. It'll just be big, beefy woman, and then this like spindly stick of a person just guarding.
But like
I
giant lady.
yes, giant lady.
No, I mean like I'm gonna giant might. And
Yeah.
when we
giant
get
lady.
within 60 seconds of the door of the tower.
Sure.
I'm
So
getting
as you all
giant lady.
you all cross that bridge back onto the island where the tower is, and Evie beefs up, and the Mesoloths start sort of buzzing angrily and frustratedly, but seeing big ol' Evie, because they're not so big, they sort of back off. The one of the Nikoloths looks also rather annoyed. The other one looks like he could not care less about what is happening right now.
Yeah.
I'm just walking up with my usual swagger, like in like this whole mindset, like I got this. I am not afraid of any of you guys.
As we are crossing the bridge, no, I can't. I can affect my. Yeah, I guess I'll cast it on my. No, I'll cast it on Evie.
Okay.
I'll cast protection from evil.
Ah.
Ooh.
So there's yet another layer that sort of rebuffs these Yugoloths, and a couple of the Mesoloths like try and get brave and sort of swoop in Evie's direction, but when they get close enough to sort of feel the effect of that magic, they've got their tridents set and are sort of buzzing straight forward, and then sort of at the last moment sort of veer off and angrily shake their fists. But with the big lady that has the big protection, none of them are particularly interested in starting a fight here. You all have discouraged them thoroughly.
Excellent.
I blow a raspberry at one of them, like.
And that one starts flying at you, and one of the Nicholas grabs him and is like, "Chill out, man. Chill out. It's gonna be okay.
It's not worth it.
Don't
It's
let
not worth
it. Don't let her get to you, man. It's not worth it."
As I'm walking by the Niles, I just go like, as I'm walking by, like throwing up a gang symbol.
Oh God! All right, get inside the tower. So you get in the tower. Oy, oy, oy. So you get in the tower, and Mordenkainen is there waiting for you. And he, as you come in, he says, "So a Balgura, hey?"
Yes.
Yes.
I have its name.
He sort of perks up at that and just looks at you expectantly.
Well, I mean, we might work out a secondary trade after we address the initial matter.
Of course. The last time I trust Yugoloths to do what is clearly a humanoid's job. I don't suppose you all would be interested in remaining on retainer for me when certain services are required.
Depends. What is your pay like?
Yes, I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, I'm with those two.
And job quality. It depends. Though, I mean, I speak for myself when I say this. I intend to remain here for a bit of time, depending. And
I am more concerned with helping the people in that city that is being pulled into the realm.
Yes, fascinating thing that. I imagine something will set it right eventually. Maybe even you all, who's to say? Pay's negotiable per job, anything from fact-finding to something similar to what I had you do just now, ridding me of troublesome individuals.
fact-finding.
Oh, it's not a choice that you get to make. The
No.
pay is
That was fact-finding.
I mean,
so it
technically, yeah.
seems.
Technically, it was fact-finding.
This is exactly my point. I sent Yugoloths to do the fact-finding and you to do the cleanup, but clearly the Yugoloths couldn't manage.
I guess
the
you could say
fact-finding.
they were a Yuga loss to the cause.
I rescind my job offer. Take your rods and go.
You got us fired before we got hired.
That's fair.
Charity is like this close to being actively hostile to the captain.
We see Charity in the background.
Like ready to cast dissonant whispers. Fucking imbecile. And like there's something clicking back there. Something's clicking back into place.
He
This
says,
is why I was evil. Puns is why I was evil.
right. He says, one thing at a time, I suppose, and he reaches into a small little pouch at his belt and pulls out two of these rods, which of course are larger than the pouch itself. And he says, I believe this is what we agreed upon, and as I said, you completed the mission after a fashion.
Entirely so. Yes. Thank you.
Indeed.
He's gonna like nudge Scribbler.
Very good.
So he hands those two over to you all, and you can see the number the number on the one that you have right now was 4?
I have it. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Notes.
I had it written down, and then all of my sticky notes on my computer got deleted, so I don't remember what it is now.
Oh no.
Equipment. Yes. Solar Incendiator Lock 4.
Yes, 4. Okay, that's what I thought. So these that he hands you are look exactly the same, have all of the same writing on them, except that these are numbers 1 and 7.
Ooh. And do we remember how many of those
9.
holes we saw on the 9?
9.
Oh,
So then,
I don't know about how many holes you ended up seeing because I don't think you circled all the way around it, but I'm pretty sure that Bell told Charity Bell told Charity that he wanted 9. You all spotted, I want to say 4 or maybe 5 of them as you flew around El Terrell, but I don't think any of you wanted to get too terribly close to the orb to count them
Covered
all out.
in demons.
What's that?
Covered in demons.
Covered in demons.
Covered in
Shit.
veins.
you said 4, 1, and 7, or 4, 1, and 9?
7.
Gotcha.
Mordenkainen says at this point, well, all right, that business is concluded. While I think about whether my retainer offer stands, Scribbler, learned friend, you said that you had the name of this Balgura. I presume that you mean its true name.
Of course. I do traffic in such things.
How very, very useful. What might one want in exchange for a Balgura's true name?
Well, it is a powerful thing to hand over. Perhaps, well, I don't suppose I could convince you to help with the city.
He sort of takes a deep breath and thinks about it and says, that is quite a long task, it would seem to me. Is it worth... Now, a Marilith true name, perhaps, or a Nalfish name, but a Balgura, I don't know.
How about a spare spellbook, then?
Ah. To be clear, empty or full?
With spells in it.
A hard bargain you drive. Let me see what I have in stock that I'm not in need of at the moment.
I would be, of course, interested in any notes that you have on spells. You are quite accomplished from everything I've heard.
Indeed. Wait here. At your... Take your leisure, take your comfort for a moment. I'll be back shortly. And the disc that he was standing on begins to raise up again. Not...
Just parks herself on the floor.
Yeah, well, there's not much else to park yourself on, so...
I plop down on the floor, looking around the room if there's anything I can touch and or...
As you sit down, Charity just turns to you and their eyes just go red.
I look back at Charity like,
Captain?
yes, Charity.
Why? Just why?
I am not going to pass up a moment to say a wonderful pun. I refuse to be punished for these things.
No!
And the sword comes out and is at your lips.
No!
Meanwhile, Scribbler's going to tap Imba. Imba, you think we could work on a refinement for our lifts on...
Somebody clip that moment. Sorry, go ahead, Scribbler and Imba.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible. There definitely are some mechanical things that I would definitely love to take a closer gander at. You know, yeah, I think a lot of things can be definitely improved here.
I think that his fundamentals, of course, fine. They're quite
absolutely.
Yeah. The refinement on the circle is quite well accomplished, but I think that maybe having a physical disc rather than an arcane only creation might be more efficient.
The sword goes back to the pocket dimension. Snarled finger just.
I tap Charity's finger and just like kind of push it down. Now, let's not get too hasty. Remember, you are full of joy and good nature. We got the rods. You need it. Isn't that right?
Mr. Moneyman, you fucked up there, son.
At this
Learn
point,
when to bite your tongue.
Evie's shaking sand out of her boot.
mid argument, the disc begins to come back down, and Mordenkainen rides upon it with a tome in hand, a leather-bound tome in hand, and as the disc reaches the ground, he turns to you, Scribbler, and says, "Well, for Balgura's name, this is what I've come up with. Have a look," and hands you the tome. And as you look inside, it's maybe not everything you would have dreamed of from a spellbook from Mordenkainen, but it has a goodly number of spells in it from 1st through 5th level. There are, as you flip through pretty quickly, there's a total of about 20 spells in it altogether. Some of them ones that you recognize and know yourself, and plenty of new ones as well.
We can work out which new ones later if you don't have them on a list. And, very well. And I write down the name of the Baldura, the name being Euron, and write it in Abyssal. Hand it to him. And,
he takes it and nods, and it's been a pleasure doing business with you, Scribbler. I do think we'll be seeing each other again at some point. You all have proven more competent than I anticipated.
We certainly will endeavor to be good business partners. If you do find yourself wanting to go to Ravnica sometime, get in touch with me. I can arrange for some introductions. I think you would find the leader of the Izzet to be a good entity to speak with, given your predilections.
I look directly at Julius.
Because I heard the word "is it," I about to say something. I look at Charity.
And I am just, the eyes are aglow.
It has been too long since I found my way to that plane. Perhaps I will. I suppose you all are going to continue off to search for more of those rods, and
yes,
as I expect to perhaps have need of you again in the future, I will offer you an advance on a future payment. I have no more of them, but I'm sure I've seen them before. And I believe that a friend is strong. A colleague of mine, let's say. I have seen him with one.
Interesting.
This one numbered 6. I can't tell you where to find my colleague. His realm is rather far from here. But as I recall, he had a mirror that allowed him to communicate with those here in Avernus. I could lead you there. You could see if perhaps he still has possession of the 6th rod.
Wonderful. Perhaps we can make a mutual exchange, because there is still more to that story. There was a Balgura there, but the means of which he was contained and by whom might be of some interest to you, and the goings-ons of said containment.
Do tell.
Well, we can make an exchange here for this payment, and then consider future payments and future endeavors, perhaps.
I like you. You were offered free payment and give me something in exchange. It does you credit for future bargainings. Go on then.
So, the Balgura is contained by some standing obelisks. They are each coded, I believe, to a certain school of magic, as it were. Scribbler, yes?
Well, yes, they are key to different types of spells, of an arcane nature, of course.
Quite. And any spells, arcane mostly, I believe, or otherwise I'm not sure how the other types of magic work in there, but most arcane magics are siphoned from this. It is drawn and unable to be used within the circle.
And who imprisoned our Balgura friend you're on?
I believe he said the name was Ball.
Really?
Yes. An unfortunate turn of events, challenging someone above his league, I think he said. It was a dickwad, as it were, as he put it. Trapped him there.
Fascinating. You all have been quite the surprise. I should come back to Avernus and consort with humanoids more often.
We are an unusual bunch, as it were, yes.
Evie is currently scraping viscera off the sword, off the sword onto the floor.
I was gonna say,
As she's doing that, like as it's like falling off, Charity will just like prestidigitate it off of the floor, like just subtle behind, just like, yep, it's just going away. Don't worry about that.
She's got her boots off. She's cleaning off her sword. I imagine Imba's doing something.
I was gonna
similar.
say, Imba's like tinkering with her like gauntlet, and it sparks every now and then. She's like, hoo.
And like, Julius is in the background taking a dagger and trying his best to juggle with it, and every now and then he pokes his finger like,
All of this is happening as Charity says, "Yes, we're an interesting bunch," and Mordenkainen sort of looks around. Indeed, you are. As I said, much more competent than I anticipated.
We do put on airs.
Well, if you don't mind, I've much to be going on with before I leave this realm for the time being.
Right.
I
May
appreciate
you
your service.
show us to where this mirror is, good sir? And we will, if you must get into contact with us, I believe Scribbler had a means of communicating long distances. Might you be obtaining of the same magics? I would assume.
We both chuckle.
Yeah, he definitely does not answer that question.
I will take that as an absolutely, and it was foolish of me to discuss. So, you of course may get into contact with us that way. I have no issues with the sort.
I'm happy to take you as far as the previous location that I sent you. Beyond that, it'll be on you to find the mirror. Have you a map of some sort? Though as you undoubtedly by this point know, the geography of Avernus is somewhat unpredictable. But I can do my best if you have something.
oh, we have a map.
Back to Scribbler.
Scribbler.
Yes, the geography is non-objective, but it does actually correspond with expectation. Therefore, at least having a map will tell you largely where to go.
Directions are one thing, distance is quite another, as I see you have learned, Scribbler. Clever.
Indeed.
Clever. He'll take a look at the map and sort of you watch him, Scribbler, as he sort of he clocks the different locations that already have marks on them and the different markings that are on the map from other individuals that have marked places for you, and he sort of takes them in and takes a moment to sort of just look around it. Ooh, excuse me. And then he touches a spot where he says he believes, at least as far as he's aware, the last time he saw the mirror, where it was located. course, things always change around here, but at least he can give you that much to go on. And where is it on the map? Which one of these days I'll remember to put up? Oh, it's way up in the top right corner of the map. There's like a little cave. There's like a mountain that looks like a face, and then to the left of that, you can see a little cave entrance. It's in there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
All right, I'll put it up one of these days for everybody else.
if I might bother you, I was wondering.
I have to ask permission for that now.
Instead of sending us to the location you sent us before, could you send us slightly different location? Not much further, but slightly different. Our companion Lulu is aware of a location that is not terribly far from where we were, would certainly save us some trouble.
Lulu sort of flies closer to you and whispers to you, we should talk before we, I think I made a mistake.
Oh. Very well then. Well,
I'm gonna insight check that.
Yeah.
What, Lulu? Well, Lulu was just sort of. Oh, I guess Lulu is less opposed to you at this point, Charity. So yeah, she wouldn't have necessarily kept it that quiet. Yeah, go ahead.
Insight, you say?
Sure.
Let's see. Sure.
Wouldn't it be funny if we got completely screwed by this friendly, happy little elf?
I know, right?
That's a 21.
You noticed a couple of things actually over the course of this conversation. When you all received the rods, Lulu sort of flew closer to them to take a look, and she looked concerned at about the rods, about something about the rods. And then when Mordenkainen mentioned that his friend had possession of the rod that was labeled 6, she sort of looked confused and thoughtful for a moment. She doesn't seem to be lying about anything. She just seems a little
Perturbed.
Not perturbed, just confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, shall we off to the destination that you have set for us, sir?
Of course. And he leads you all upstairs to his teleportation
Evie,
circle.
put your shoes back on.
Evie's tugging her boots back on, put the sword away.
So he leads you upstairs to the teleportation circle, sets you on there, and bamfs you back out into the Avernian wastes.
Thanks very much. It was great to meet you.
Bye.
Come on in.
Bye.
And once you're there, Lulu sort of turns to you all and she says, you all know that I'm having some trouble with my memories, and it looks like they're slowly coming back, but also it looks like maybe some of them, I don't think they're wrong necessarily, but because I can't remember how long ago any given memory is, I think maybe some things have changed. It's all very confusing, but that rod that I was sure I'd seen in the Bone Brambles was that one. And she points to the rod that's numbered 1. And she says, so I guess I was wrong about the bramble. We can go check it out still if you want, but maybe the wizard got his hands on it after I remembered seeing it there. It's all pretty fuzzy, which is also why I know that the next thing I'm going to tell you should definitely be taken with a grain of salt, as the saying goes, where some of you are from. But
I know that one.
But I'm pretty sure that I remember seeing the number 6 rod too, and I don't think it was with a guy in a mirror.
Where do you remember seeing the number 6 rod at?
I remember it with a guy in a big, another tower, sort of like Mordenkainen's, but way scarier.
Maybe the guy in the mirror and the guy in the tower could be one and the same.
It could be, maybe.
Well, don't worry,
He did
Lulu.
never tell us the name of said individual, did he?
We should have asked.
Probably should have asked for that.
It would have been helpful, but I don't remember the name of the guy in the big scary tower either, so it wouldn't have helped me very much.
Well, we'll just name drop more than who's is what's it's, and
Morty.
and after that
I
we'll
call him Morty, but I don't think I would do that to his face.
Our mate Morty. Evie would.
Evie would
did.
100%.
Evie absolutely probably already did. Lily says, well, yeah, totally. And like I said, like my memories aren't super reliable, and I don't know when they're from. But I'll tell you about anything I remember. And right now, all I remember is seeing the number 6 rod there. And on the map, she sort of points to the opposite corner of Avernus in the northwestern corner, sort of north of, in the northwestern corner. She says, that's where I remember his tower being.
So near the giant dragon head?
Kind of. A little bit south of there. You can see, like, up on a promontory, there's, like, a little... Well, it's hard to see it in the map, but there's a little nubbin of a tower. Yeah.
What is that?
Alex, have a suspicion, but...
I know what that is. That's a long walk, because that's what that is.
That ain't wrong.
We need a vehicle.
Oh, did we get the bike back? We didn't get the bike back.
No,
the bike was in the tower, right?
Yeah, we would have.
Could we have just wheeled
that's
it?
fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Wonderful. So I mean, hey, Imba's got a bike.
So 2 of you could go.
I was gonna say, yeah, one of us can. If Imba, if you're okay with that, one of us being side saddled with it.
I don't mind at all, but I actually have an idea. What if we get some sort of platform and attach it to the back of the bike and I pull everybody?
Oh.
We could surf our way across Avernus. We could
that
like
sounds like
our entire way across. Yes.
That sounds like a grand idea.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Yes.
You guys can have fun with that. I'll stick to the skies.
Okay, if that's what you want to do.
I don't feel safe doing that.
Certainly. I can imagine that you might have some difficulties with some of the flying predators that are in Avernus, but...
if I stay low enough to all of you, you're targets too.
I view it like this, though, Charity. I mean, you could fly.
Don't. Oh my God.
But you can ride with us, and you have a story to tell. Because, that's what you like to do. You like to hear stories, tell stories.
I also like to live long enough to tell them.
Oh, well, I tried.
Well, plus, I know you magic types, can only do so much at once. Why not,
Imba, you're a magic type.
I mean, it's more my machines than an innate ability. It's a bit different than you.
Technically, I'm a magic type.
Technically. I am also a magic type. It's the magic of my good looks.
No.
Let's
try once again.
I just desperately start looking around for something to tie to the back of the car.
Yeah.
All right, let's find something.
Like, I don't know if there's like a scrap of like metal, maybe that could be affixed with like a chain or something.
Yeah, something large enough that we can all sit on.
Sure. Good question. Let's call this an intelligence survival check from you, Imba. Let's see what you can find in and around this area.
An intelligence survival?
Mm-hmm. To add your intelligence modifier, survival proficiency if you've got it.
All right. $21.
Okay. Nice. Okay, right. So yeah. There is some very rusty sort of scrap metal buried under some of the sands out here that in the long run may not survive, but you think it's sturdy enough to get you a little somewhere, at least for now.
As we're all like going to go and sit on it, Charity will just like prestidigitate parts of it to be cleaner so that we're not sitting on rust and so I don't mess my clothing. It's like, yeah, but this is lovely. As I'm like doing it on the other side, I'm like, look, it's lovely. Thank you.
I find it fascinating that your priority is I don't want to mess my clothes. My thinking is I don't want to get tetanus.
Uh-huh. That was actually my thought, but anyway.
Just like, lovely. Really, look at that. Look at the other side. And I like turn it around like, you found such a beautiful piece of metal. Imba, thank you.
I mean, I'd prefer to actually build something, but we're on a bit of a time crunch here.
We can't expect you to do all of that. I mean, you could, but we're not expecting you to. So thank you, though.
All right.
Do you know,
You can hold on to your
sometimes don't sound like compliments?
She has a point there. Half the time, some of the things you say could be taken as compliments, but then you really think about it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, all aboard.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
Whatever did you mean?
Imba, you attach this thing, and you all can start off. It's going to become quickly pretty apparent to you, Imba, that between the big piece of metal sort of dragging on the ground behind you and the added weight of additional passengers, it's going to slow the bike down a little bit. Still gonna be definitely faster than walking, but it's going to be a little bit slower than it would have normally been.
Okay.
Just thaumaturgy in the
By the way,
background.
this thing
Just
is like
sleigh bells.
so
Yeah.
stable.
Also
like it's
that.
You guys
Yeah.
basically drift.
Yeah, Evie's right at the back, like
Oh boy.
Yeah.
right on the back.
Like
just to
Julius
kinda
is
make
holding
sure
on to it for dear
everybody
life,
else-
but enjoying it at the same time.
Yeah.
And where are you headed? Are we
Which
going?
one are we?
Yeah,
We're
which one are
going
you going
north.
to? You're definitely
So-
going north. Yep.
Yeah.
Imba, set the course here. That's
Oh gosh.
you're the one driving.
Well, the north is
East
the
or west?
direction of the.
Of
I
all
mean-
of the things that we're looking for.
Yeah, north is both
the
of them.
direction.
It's just a matter of whether you eventually turn east or west.
Well, given our
Where's the
actual
fork?
location, we're already on the west side of the map. We might as well just go for the northwest one first.
Might as well.
That-
And then we
is
can
that,
hook around.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
Lulu's suggestion? Was
That's
that Lulu's?
that's
No,
Lulu's
that's-
suggestion.
Okay.
So the northwest is
Yeah.
Lulu.
Look, I think I trust Lulu a little bit more than Molly.
Yeah. I do trust Lulu's discussion on what we need to go.
Sure.
All right.
As things are happening, I'll just say like, I really want to be up and off of this thing, and if it ever looks like it's gonna get like haywire, I'm prepping myself to like, I'm mentally prepping myself to fly if ever the need comes about for us to bail.
Just yeet
Okay.
yourself off the platform.
Yeah,
Alright.
just
So as you all are traveling and riding on this precarious perch, let me have all of you make either strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics check if you're on the metal cart in the back. If you're driving the bike as normal, you don't have to make a check.
Ooh.
Oh, Scrib.
24.
24, okay. Scribbler.
So 8.
Okay, excellent. Evie.
24.
Okay, and Charity.
let's see. I rolled a 4,
Oh, so it's gonna go super well.
so
I'm right at the back, remember?
Right.
You said-
Evie's
dexterity, acrobatics. Or strength
I'll take
athletics?
that, either one.
So either an 8.
Well, give me
Or
your
a
best one.
6.
Okay, so an 8.
8.
All right. So, Scribbler and Charity. Charity, what level spell slots do you have at this level? 4th, right?
I have 3rd.
3rd.
I only have 3rd level spells. Yes.
Okay. Oh,
I
that's
can
right.
cast up to 3rd. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
All right. So, Scribbler and Charity, both of you just have a very rough time of this ride. It is long and very uncomfortable, and on more than one occasion, you all are at risk of, or perhaps actually go flying off of this thing. Charity, since you said that you were ready to fly at any moment's notice, I will let you roll your check again if you expend a spell slot to cast fly on yourself. Scribbler, if you have something that you would have been ready with, I'll make you the same deal.
Featherfall is always a reaction.
Okay, great. So I will buy that as well. Yes, Charity?
I will, and I'll bail off of the thing to hopefully give it a little bit more speed for them, although I know it's carrying 3 other people.
Yeah.
And I'll just like coast over them with eyes out.
All right,
Yeah,
so go ahead and make the check again. So it's after the fact advantage.
22.
Okay. Scribbler, same for you.
14.
Okay, yeah, that's enough. So the two of you expend those spell slots to sort of lessen the blow, and you uncomfortably, but without any added negative effects, manage to make it sort of closer up to the area of the map. And in the distance, still a little ways off, but in the distance you begin to be able to see... Ooh, excuse me. You'll be able to see in the distance that dark tower looming on the horizon. This one is definitely bigger than Mordenkainen's was, or taller than Mordenkainen's was. A black sort of spire rising probably hundreds and hundreds of feet into the air. And you can see sort of at this distance, you begin to see a little more detail on the tower, and the ramparts are just bristling with what look like skulls mounted on iron spikes, sort of all over the thing. And at the very apex of the tower, you can see that it splits into these 5 narrower spires that sort of jab at the sky like clawed fingers. And from this distance, that's all you can see. You're a little ways out still.
Were we going to the tower or the other thing?
The
we're
tower
going to
is
that
where
tower.
Lulu
Oh,
directed
okay,
you all.
yeah. All right,
She
cool.
said the person that she remembers seeing
Yeah.
with the rod is in the tower.
I'll pop my rod of pact keeping
Okay.
and expend that charge.
Okay,
And regain a spell slot.
certainly.
And I'm just gonna. It looks like a claw, yeah, going up.
Yeah, the top of it does a little bit. It has these like five pointy spires that look like they might be like a claw, palm up. Yep.
You know,
Interesting.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. Does not look
Should have gone to the
inviting at all.
cave.
We could have gone to the cave. Just saying, we could have gone to the cave, but you know,
I
Well-
assure you, the cave would have been just as unpleasant.
Yeah, I
It
don't
doesn't
really think
look
anything
like-
here is better than anything else. I think it's just all bad all the time.
yes. but
Hey.
this doesn't look
Consistent.
inviting at all whatsoever.
But a cave, a deep, dark cave, looks inviting to you,
I don't
sir.
like that either.
No, it's true. It's not. It's really. I suppose a tower is better than a deep, dark, scary cave.
It's consistently terrible. At least we're prepared.
And that's true.
I'm taking this as an opportunity to take notes on what I don't want in a wizard's tower when I decide to.
Mm.
You know, if we're going to talk about Wizard's Tower, I have a question, Scribbler.
Yes.
Is there a reason why wizard towers, are so tall?
Certainly.
What's the reason?
Oh,
Perfect.
it is threefold. One, it allows you to impose a certain level of gravitas to your presence.
Yeah.
If you're above others, your ability to negotiate from a place of power is easier. For the second, it discourages casual visitors. Wizards are often doing scholarly work, which requires concentration and do not wish to be interrupted. And third, if you're going to do experiments, doing it above the street level sometimes is safer for everyone involved.
Is it also because they look cool?
That would go back to part number 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be part number 1.
I always thought it was to make space for all those freaking books.
Well, space is always an issue when you're maintaining a proper library. That is true.
I always thought it was like a, middle finger up to the gods, rebelling against our mortality and, just generally kind of more of an esoteric sort of thing.
That kind of makes sense. What if Mordenkainen's tower is just like a hand, but the hand's already buried under the sand?
No, that's a very good point, because you as wizards are pretty much saying, giving a big old FU to the powers of God itself and saying, hey, I have godly powers.
Interestingly enough, the plane that I am from does not have gods.
Well, maybe it's a big old FU to science.
What?
Not in your case.
He was like personally offended.
I always thought it was a compensation issue.
So at that, Charity, you all hear... you all hear this incredibly loud, screeching roar, and your attention is, at least momentarily, pulled back to the tower, and flying up from behind the tower and beginning to circle this tower is an enormous, what looks like well, at first glance, it looks like perhaps a gray dragon, but you realize eventually that it is an enormous white dragon that is stained with ash and soot, and it begins to circle the tower as if patrolling the area around it.
I cling to Evie.
That's one big boy.
That's a big one.
That does, in fact, add a further layer of
Hell?
Complication.
Further layer of hell?
No, that would be going down, actually.
However, I can speak dragon. I have, we do know, with the, Scribbler.
I do, in fact, speak Draconic. However, if I remember my dragons correctly, white dragons are generally not friendly.
No check required for that one.
Yeah.
Now, interesting. Well, let's have at it, shall we?
Okay. I guess this is what we got to do.
Anyway.
I'm sure this will go famously.
So you all begin to approach. As you get a little bit closer, you notice figures shuffling all over the ramparts of this tower. And as they sort of come more clearly into focus, you see that, in fact, in addition to the White Dragon, this tower appears to be guarded by a multitude of undead guards in various states of decay. As you get sort of within yelling distance of the tower, and at any point let me know if I should know something about your approach, but as you get sort of within yelling distance of the tower, the dragon lets out a great roar, and it sounds like two of you speak Draconic, so two of you would understand that this roar is not just a wordless yell, but rather a great cry of intruders. And as you all sort of recover from the sound and the volume of this roar, the doors at the bottom of the tower swing open, and out of them begins to walk 5 individuals. One of them is... Oh, do I have a picture of him? I don't think I do. I'll put one up in a minute. One of them is what looks like a humanoid, bipedal, rather large turtle person with a shell just completely covered in carvings of draconic runes, which the two of you who speak Draconic can see. A few words here and there appear to be prayers to the dragon goddess and queen of chromatic dragons, Tiamat.
We did it, folks.
this turtle carries a great big maul with the sides of it carved to look like two grinning skulls, the eyes and mouth of which glow a sort of horrible sickly green from the inside. Joining this turtle as he comes out are four rotting, decayed ghouls. Their stench smellable even at this distance, their enormously long tongues dragging out of their mouths and occasionally sort of twitching to and fro as they catch scent of you. And as if understanding that the moment is tense enough, the map begins to speak from Scribbler's pack and says, "He wears the hand of evil, yet his goal remains just beyond his fingertips."
I look back at Scribbler and say, Scribbler, really not now. Now's not the time.
Never mind.
All right, and I know we had a tech break right early on, but we should still give everybody the opportunity for a bathroom and water and coffee break at the middle of our stream, which is now, and this is a suitably tense moment. So we're going to take a brief little break here. Don't go away. You all have been so great to stick with us through our tech troubles at the beginning and then now. I'll have a picture of this turtle up when we come back. Thanks so much for hanging out. Don't go anywhere. Hydrate, go to the restroom, get some coffee or a drink or whatever it is you need. We will be back in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for hanging out. All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We are back with Descent into Avernus here on Barrett Rolls. The party has just approached a tower that I'm sure a lot of people already have figured out whose it is, but I haven't said anything yet, so I'm not going to say it now. This lovely individual that you see on your screen has come out to greet them with 4 ghoul companions. Hey, thanks for the host, Tanya. So happy to have you. Wow. Glad you're here. This lovely individual here that you see on screen is a turtle priest of Tiamat with prayers to the dragon goddess carved all over his shell that has come out to greet the party along with 4 ghouls.
Oh man, that's an amazing picture.
It's some great ass art. The art in this book is amazing. All props to all of the artists and Emi Kanji, the art director at WotC, who I'm pretty sure did this book. I will double check that later. So, what you all are not quite. You're within yelling distance, so I suppose you could have a yelled conversation with this turtle if you so desired. But he's come out with his 4. Thanks for the host, rivals. He's come out with his entourage of 4 ghouls and is just sort of standing, staring at you all menacingly at the moment. Thanks for the follow, rivals. You guys are the best. Thank you, Tanya.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Hello.
Yep. I
Julius.
was gonna just
All with like a goblin on a motorcycle and just plate of metal haphazardly attached to the back of the rest of the
we are looking
Just like,
like
hello.
we served them us on a silver
Hello?
platter.
On
I
a
am
rusty-
preemptively doing the facepalm.
Yep.
Oh,
I gotta say, Scribbler, you and I are sort of on a wavelength today. I've done the Picard a few times myself.
We are
Charity
wakeboarding
gets too
towards
angry
this.
to Picard. I'm realizing. Charity's like, I will cut you if you do this again.
So when you call out to this turtle, he's just sort of very quickly, like he stamps his maul on the ground and says, unless... Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong voice. Unless you have business here, be gone.
I slowly look over at Charity.
I look over at
Why?
Lou.
Charity probably has business here. I mean-
yeah.
I believe that we do have business with the master of this tower.
Are you saying that calmly as we are
Yes,
hurtling towards?
I'm like,
I am.
sorry
Well,
for him.
I'm slowing down so it's fine.
Now,
So it doesn't.
now, Imba, don't say that like we should have assumed it.
No, I was thinking you were gonna do like a whole, like
That's
skit.
valid. That's valid.
You never know. But yes, okay, you're slowing down. Fair enough.
I'll thaumaturgy my voice to put it out a little further and just be like,
Okay.
we come
Don't say in peace.
bearing news and questions. If you have answers,
I believe the word you
we
want
do
is
not mean you any harm.
I lean over to Charity like, say parlay. That's what we say.
Shh, shh, shh.
A
what I
low
say.
sort of a low rumble comes from the turtle, and he says, "You could not do me harm, even if you meant it.
Damn
You are
swine
correct.
The master of this tower is away, and I shall not allow you to disturb him for only your word."
This is entirely fair. What might we be able to bring as to be of service or use to get a word with him?
My master has much of great power, any offering would have to be grand indeed.
Charity.
Imba, I don't have to tell you this again. Start the car, turn around.
It's still running.
And get us in the wrong direction. We'll be back.
Good to ascertain.
I pray to you.
The rod.
Thanks.
Bye.
What
You
was
have
that?
a good day now.
What was that, Scribbler?
I turned to the rest of the party and I was like, we should determine if they have the rod that we need.
We can do that when we don't have to look at. I look up. How many things are flying around us?
Just the one is flying. Just that great big white
Just the-
dragon at the
Just
moment.
the dragon.
I mean,
that.
look,
I mean, just the
I'm not
dragon
placing
alone.
any value judgments on the dragon, but it is the only thing flying around at the moment.
And then I point to the rest of them at that. Oh, and then I point at the the giant turtle man. That.
I could take him.
I don't want to. Evie, I'm sure. Let's move. And I'll give a salute. And let's
Now-
start heading somewhere else.
Now,
I'm-
Imba, since you are driving this little crew, obviously the ultimate decision rests with you, or at the very least, you get to decide when the decision is properly and fully discussed.
I'm slowing down. I kind of turn around a little bit. It's like it's
Okay.
still running.
Right,
I'm
right.
just like turned around.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like,
I mean, he might have one of the rods, but I mean, I don't know what we could possibly give this guy. I mean,
Also,
well,
I get the feeling if we outright asked him if he has one of the rods, it would not end
Not
well
go
for
well.
us.
I don't know. It worked pretty well with Morty.
It sure did, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, but he seemed conversive and not. I will kill you on sight. Let's get a two-step into this one. This man seems.
I honestly just think he was more subtle about it. I think he absolutely would have blasted us to cinders if we messed that
Would
one
have.
up.
You're correct, but he offered us an opportunity. This one seems keen intent to not let us around.
We could ask if they have any work for us to do. I mean, it's worked for us once.
You want to put
No,
more work on our plate?
What other work do we have on our plate besides getting rods
I
for
point
you?
directly at Lulu.
Oh, that's
Oh.
true.
Lulu is like ducked down underneath like any of y'all's packs or whatever she can
I
find.
reckon I'm like cradling.
Yeah, she is
Like-
not about this turtle or this tower.
Well, they said that the mirror was a way to speak to the master of the tower, right?
yeah.
No.
Oh, maybe.
Oh.
No, the tower was, well, I guess it might be the same person, but the tower was not linked necessarily in, as far as Mordenkainen knew, to this, to the mirror. They were two separate possible directions for where you might find a rod.
Yeah.
Mirror was the other thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was more east.
Oh, that's true, yeah. I mean, it doesn't look...
Lulu's.
This is, yeah. Lulu. Well, then it looks like Lulu's really not in the mood to talk right now. All right. We could offer our skills as for a job to that fine gentleman over there and see what happens. Even though he said we have nothing to offer to the master who obviously has great power.
But like, how does he know that? We haven't even spoken to. I reckon I could take the turtle. Probably can't do much about the dragon, but I reckon I could take the turtle.
Evie,
Love, I'm sure you could.
you.
Let's not test it.
Yeah,
though.
let's not.
Let's not put the metal to the test.
I'm not allowed to make puns, and he can. And Charity can say that.
That was so bad that I can't even get upset at it.
I wasn't even trying.
Right.
But Julia says that out loud in the most exasperated way.
You were very trying.
Okay, that one I liked. Play on words is one thing. Puns is something else entirely.
So we have only a range of options.
I mean, we can go due east.
Or
Let's maybe have this conversation out of eyesight.
Oh, no, I assumed we were pulling away. Did we stop?
You know what? I was kind of like stopped at one point, like turning around. But I think at this point, you know, when it's clear that we're not really sure and there's a dragon, and
yeah, I'd rather not get hot death rained down. Would it actually be fire, like icy death? Yeah, that's icy death from up there.
Let's peel out.
so Eva just kind of like waves at the turtle and like drifts off then.
I wave to the turtle like, we'll be back later.
I don't wave at the turtle.
The turtle does not wave at any of you, so, you know. Just sort of watches until you all are out of sight. And then at that point, you don't know what the turtle does, because, well, you're out of sight.
Rude.
Oh, that was a very intimidating fellow.
I think that's putting it
Standing
lightly.
there,
Tense.
menacingly.
Very steadfast in everything they were doing.
Okay. We need to come up with a plan.
Lulu,
The other
you said
way
that
of
there
plan?
was something there, perhaps? That's where you remember seeing it? You were there? What were you ever doing there?
I mean, it's just, it doesn't feel like, you know, the rods, if they are there, could mean anything. You know? Okay. Lulu, Charity brought up a good question. Why
Yes?
were you there to begin with?
Why was I where?
At that tower.
Oh, I came with
Her.
her, I think, and we were here. Why were we here? And she her little trunk like comes up and like taps her forehead right in the middle, as she's trying to think, and she says, it wasn't long after the rods were forged, and we were here to... Oh, I don't remember. She had something to ask of the man in the tower. I'm so sorry, I don't remember.
If the rods were forged, and you came here to ask something of this person in the tower, so are we certain that they even have the rods?
No, it was a long time ago, and there's, like I said, I feel terrible about misremembering the thing in the bone brambles, and so I'm trying to be as helpful as I can.
Thank you. We appreciate the information nonetheless. And if anything, it's another landmark that we know to either avoid or come back to if necessary.
Exactly. Okay. Why don't we go east to that cave that Mordekainen mentioned? Then maybe this would be even more of a help than just going towards that tower.
I mean, I certainly won't be offended. That was pretty scary. So yeah.
To be clear, the place we'll go will also be scary.
Oh, well, okay. I mean, I guess this whole place is kind of scary, if I'm being honest, so...
Everything is scary here, and it's horrible.
None of it is objectively good.
Everything is scary in Avernus. It's the new It's Always Sunny.
It's always scary in Avernus.
You all are the stars.
Let's
Let's go east.
just continue on.
Yeah.
Like, this is a landmark. We've got the landmark. The boss ain't home, so
There's no one to talk to begin with.
Exactly. We may as well just go to the other place, and maybe the other place is fruitful. I
Yeah.
hope we find something soon.
It is worth at least considering that they are. How to put this? If we wanted to acquire the rods by something other than making a deal, this might be the best time to do it if the master of the tower is not there.
Oh.
You saw the dragon.
I did.
You saw the turtle.
I could totally take that turtle.
Evie, I'm sure you could.
I'm confident that we actually probably could. And it's Ghoul brethren. The real question is, how long would it take us to do? If we could do that within a certain...
Probably about a minute.
And then we would immediately be forced into a fight with a white dragon, which...
That'll kill me. That'll almost certainly kill me.
So I think no matter what we do, we would probably die no matter what would happen.
That seems like a lose our things and lose our life situation in all cases.
And to be fair, I'm really not looking to die down here.
You saw all the undead that were skulking about the place. I don't want to be one of them.
See, I was just going to say that. As soon as we die, they're just going to like, bloop, 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 bloop. Hey, you're part of our army now.
I'm not kosher with being undead.
See?
Exactly. Let's let it not happen. So, what do we know about... Okay. I know I'm supposed to be the font of information. I'm just kind of stumbling right now.
I don't actually disagree with any of your points. I will, however, point out that we will, at some point, have to go into places that we know are dangerous to accomplish this mission.
Super happy to go into that dangerous place right now. I'm just forewarning that I can take the turtle. I can totally take the turtle. Minor concern about the dragon, but if we want to do it, I'm totally down.
Evie, is your battle tactic against the turtle just to knock it on its back?
No, my battle tactic is I've got a couple of those runes, right? So I'm going to activate one of those first, got a particular one in mind, and then I'm going to get at least 10 feet away and then just fucking book it straight into him. Knock him over, hopefully sit on him a bit, and then just hit him with my sword till he's dead.
The sitting.
It's a legitimate battle strategy.
Legitimate battle strategy.
Well, let's take let's take a tack and put that on the wall. But let's consider going east to the mirror, since we are, confirmed that we possibly could get rods from there.
I'm the first to jump at a attempt to shoot someone. Sure, absolutely. But let's make it our last resort if we have to. I don't like to, just pop off all willy-nilly. I mean, I do. But
yeah, I was about to say.
I like to make sure that I can get out of it in any way, shape, or form. Mostly the shape and form that I'm in right now, which is alive and well and not bleeding from every orifice that I have.
Okay,
and maybe even some new ones if he's got some stabby stuff.
Right, that's just the worst case scenario. I don't need more of those.
Who needs more of those?
No.
So, your intention is to go to the cave to the east.
I feel that's the best thing to do. So, vote consensus. Cave east. Me? Yes. Am I here?
I thought we're already moving.
Well, we're not, because...
Right. I assume you all were sort of idling, and once you were far enough away, and ready, and making this decision. So as soon as, if this is indeed the moment that Imba starts to rev the bike to go again, the bike revs and dies.
Oh no!
Your bike has run out of fuel.
Oh no!
Which
I
wouldn't
need
normally
some
be
juice.
something that we would have to deal with, but since there is some discussion about soul coins and their use, I figured we should bring it up.
How close are we still to old mate Spiky Shell dude?
Oh, I mean, pretty easy. I mean, within, like a few, like maybe 10 minutes walk.
Okay.
I don't think I
All
I
right.
assumed you all didn't get very far before you started discussing the plan, since some of you wanted to maybe
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah, no, it's
It
more
was
of
a
it,
couple
like,
city blocks.
is he gonna see us and be like,
No,
oh,
you're
man,
out
we're
of
going.
no, you're out of eyesight for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a couple of the coins that
We've already checked.
you've already checked.
Yep. Give me one of them naughty boys.
I will. I have
Understatement of
Yeah, really.
I have
One of them
two that
naughty
only
boys.
have one charge.
That won't
So-
affect the amount of time we're traveling.
But doesn't it?
No.
It just means we'll have to replace it sooner.
And how many do we have left after using one more coin as a fuel?
I
source?
have another one
I've
that
got
has
some.
one charge left, and then I think I gave Evie
I've got some.
a few.
As the high constitution
Oh, right.
individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I
each
can
charge
take
is a full
4.
day's worth of fuel, so full 24 hours worth of fuel, so.
Okay.
Exactly. So here, one coin for you.
I have 3 times 1 charge and 1 times 2 charge.
Great.
And
So
I
for
don't
now-
have any information
for now,
on
I had-
the alignment.
Right. For now, I had
Makes
forgotten
sense.
that you all still had some coins that you had determined the quality of the soul within. So you can dump in one of those one charge ones and fuel her back up. That blackish blue purple fire shoots out of the furnace once again and out of the tailpipe of the bike, and she's revving again. So you all can carry on. Now, is the group decision now that we've got the fuel to head east to the cave?
Yes.
Due east and rev that bad boy as fast as we can.
Away from the dragon.
Yeehaw, Grandma. Let's go.
All right, hold on to your butts. And she puts up her goggles and just.
Evie sits on her hands.
I love it.
Evie, hold on to the plate, please.
All right, and so off you go towards this. There we go. Off you go towards the east, and it is a goodly distance away that you are headed to get to this cave in sort of the opposite end of the plain. And it's a long day, and I'll need you all to once again make athletics or acrobatics, strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics checks if you're riding on the metal plate in the back.
That was cocked. It was stuck between a 1 and a 13.
Evie?
I'm so.
I only rolled a 3, but that's still 11.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so Captain Julius?
26.
All right. Im is not rolling. Charity.
That is a 15.
All right, and Scribbler.
7.
Okay, Scribbler, you can well, let's see. So I should have done this in a different order. So along the way, so this is going to take you the better part of like a full day of travel to get to. So it's been quite a day so far. So at some point, you all will have needed to sort of stopped up, taken a rest, and dealt with things. So I hate to sort of. Yeah. So as much as I hate to, because the opportunities for interesting things with long rests in Avernus are endless. However, just to keep things moving, everyone can go ahead and take your long rest. Nothing particularly interesting happened.
Oh, good.
This then is at the is on the next day. So after the long rest, Scribbler, if you want to expend a first level spell to feather fall and roll that again. You are welcome to do so. But your exhaustion has been cured, which is great.
Yes. I can roll normally.
By the way,
instead
I
of
picture
disadvantage.
that. I was gonna say I picture that like Imba hit a bump. And he actually got some air
Yes.
before like landing.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. I love it. Was the reroll any better, Scribbler?
Nope.
Oh no.
Julius
Well,
with the 26. Like,
13?
hits
Oh
the
yeah,
button
13 is definitely
flips.
better. Yeah.
I was like, wait. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 13.
Yeah,
not 3.
the DC for this particular difficulty is only 11. So
Yeah.
okay. All right.
So I just made it.
So Imba yes you did. So Imba, exactly as you described, you get air and you sort of turn back to check and make sure that everybody's okay, and you see Scribbler just sort of hovering and very slowly making his way back down to the ground.
Like,
so you sort of
Guiding him in.
turn a Yui, get underneath him. Evie is able to sort of reach up and pull Scribbler back down onto the plate, and you all are able
I'm thinking
to.
maybe we should tie a
to
rope
go
to
off.
Scribbler's foot next time he goes flying up into the air, so we can just like lightly tug him back down.
It should be like a balloon.
Yeah, like a balloon or something.
The other thing that I will say, and now that I know you all have at least one more soul coin that you've already checked out, is that since this was another full day of travel to get to the other side of Avernus, you'll need to have put in another charge, another coins charge.
Wait.
Yeah.
There's one thing I forgot to
Oh yes, please.
bring up. If it's okay with you.
Yeah, of course. I'm sure it is.
retroactively.
Yeah.
Before I rested, I did a sending
Oh sure.
to the people hiding in the cathedral.
Oh
Oh,
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Simple sending of, we are checking in to see how you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
We are still working on a solution.
You get a reply back that in a sort of shaky voice saying, scouting party went in search of food, only half returned.
Oh.
Frightened, but safe for the moment. All our thanks, but please hurry.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, things are not. I mean, they're okay, but obviously things are not as nice as we would like for them to be up in El Terrell. So we have.
Am I right?
So we've long rested.
Once again, I'm like
Popped in yet another soul coin to continue to power the bike since that full charge was used up. And as you all finally begin to approach this cave, you can see that not very far past the cave entrance, there is a sort of giant slab of what looks like ice, sort of wedged in and completely sealing off the rest of the cave. And the map begins to speak from Scribbler's pack again and says, "Mirror, mirror, made of ice, look within, but at what price?"
Swear to God, Scribbler, just
really Scribbler. It's like, is there
Turn
an
off the
off
cryptic
button
shit.
for you when it comes to these things? It's like every time.
I've got to be on my A game walking into these situations, and this
This-
cryptic shit just.
Just say what you mean. You don't need to. You don't need to the poems. They're not necessary.
I am not given to prevarication or elaboration beyond what is required for clear communication.
What did he say?
I have no idea.
Just a whole mess. I just needed a moment after that one.
This map is probably really useful, but
Yeah. As you all get a
to
little
the
bit,
now.
as Imba sort of coasts the bike a little bit closer, you can see a little bit more clearly into this this mirror of ice, and it looks like maybe maybe it's not a mirror, but it is kind of a mirror, but it's not. Anyway, through its surface, you glimpse a sort of glacial, snow-covered landscape through the mirror.
I hop off the slab when Imba comes to a stop. And I'm gonna walk over to the to that mirror, and I kind of like stop in front of it. I look around it because it's just really upsetting that there's a gigantic block of ice in the middle of this hellish like wasteland.
Well, it gets more
Actually-
upsetting. What's that?
Yeah. Weren't we like rolling against heat exhaustion yesterday? Okay,
Yeah, and it
sure.
gets even more upsetting, Julius, as you approach the mirror, because you do in fact see your reflection in the mirror.
I stop and I do this.
But your reflection is rime encrusted, as if you've been out in the snow for a long time. You look haggard, your eyes look dead and soulless, and you appear to be standing in a frozen tundra, completely bare and barren and desolate, except for way in the distance you spot a tower made of ice. And let me have from you, Julius, since you're currently the one looking in the mirror, a intelligence arcana check, if you would.
Okie dokie. A 4.
Okay, great. Carry on.
I look at myself and then I look in the mirror. Do I look any different now when I look in the mirror than look back at myself?
You do not, but as you look at yourself, your reflection just ever so slightly cocks its head in a way that you have in fact not. And now I need you to make an intelligence saving throw.
Oh dear.
Intelligence save? 20. A 20.
Oh, damn. Okay. So there is a sort of you feel a chill run through your entire body, and you like this overwhelming fear and cold sort of washes over you, but you sort of shake your head, squeeze your eyes tight real quick and open them back up, and your reflection is back to not normal, but it's not like acting independently of you anymore.
Nope. And I turn right around, walk right back to the slab. Nope. Guys, nope. So.
Should I go investigate?
Yes. Please. Well, I will say what I saw is that I saw myself and my reflection looked different from my usual self in that I looked like I have been in a winter wonderland almost dying for months. And it looked weird. Then I thought I saw my reflection not do the reflection thing, where it copies your movement. It moved by itself. Then, I think may have been playing tricks on my mind or something. So,
Our reflection then.
There, so I don't think you can punch it. Do not take that as don't please, no, don't take that as a challenge.
I will go wander up to the ice mirror.
I will,
I will
I'll
not.
sit back and watch.
I'm going to watch because
All right. Yeah, I'll walk up to it.
Okay, and you see a very similar. You see the same scene, and you also see the reflection of yourself looking frozen and haggard. And I will take that intelligence arcana check first.
Okay.
Oh, good. Yeah, this is gonna be.
this is gonna go so much better.
Are you ready for this, Eugenio?
I'm the most ready.
29.
Okay, so you 429. So you spot that tower in the distance, and immediately, history books and tomes about the plane sort of flash through your mind, and you recognize that tower as Mephistar, the lair of the archdevil Mephistopheles in Cania, his lair of the hells, several layers further down from where you are. As you sort of look there at the tower, your reflection begins to raise its spellcasting implement, which you have not in fact done, and so now I also need you to make an intelligence saving throw, please.
Which I have advantage on.
You do, yes. I think you're going to be fine, but you never know.
I think I do. Let me double check.
Okay.
I want to make sure. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, would a 25 be okay?
A 25 is more than okay, so you do the same thing. You just sort of steal yourself. I'm not even sure that you look away. I think you just sort of glare at your reflection, and it sort of snaps back into mirroring your actions and your position.
And that was cutting it close.
It wouldn't dare not.
It wouldn't dare not. That's right. You frightened it back into position. Scribbler, as you look in this mirror and you sort of you take a moment to recognize what you're seeing, you can just make out in the distance, sort of flying forth from Mephistar, some sort of figure that is winging its way in your direction. Vaguely humanoid in shape, but with two great big wings.
Okay, I'm going to take a moment to try and figure out how this mirror works.
Sure.
I'm gonna like poke my head around and just be like, "Hey, you good over there?"
He needs some help.
It's quite interesting.
We'll start with basics with an intelligence arcana check, Scribbler.
I'll walk over. He's like, "Yeah, it's interesting." I'll be like, "This will be
Oh
fun."
no.
Natural 20
Yes.
plus 8 plus the 3 from the D4, so
Solid 31. I love
yeah.
it.
Kidding.
So as we discussed, I like crits on skill checks because I like crit fails on skill checks. So we'll give you a little bit more than a normal Arcana check would be able to tell you. To start with, obviously this mirror and the ice that it's made out of are, of course, this isn't anything that I'm sure you haven't already figured out, but they are magical manifestations of Cania. They are there as a sort of permanent scrying mirror, essentially, two-way scrying mirror from Cania into Avernus. Let's see, what can you tell that you wouldn't otherwise normally? Well, definitely, it's definitely a permanent scrying spell, but it looks like you just are able to make out little runes sort of etched in the borders of the mirror that modify the scrying spell in such a way that allow two-way conversation through the mirror, and also obviously protect the mirror from the heat of Avernus, though the ice of Cania, even on its own, would be fairly hardy against any sort of heat available. What else? As far as you can tell, the mirror is purely for audiovisual work. It doesn't look like there's any sort of spell work done to the mirror that would allow actual physical passage between the two realms.
I'm taking notes into my little notebook. This is interesting. Imba, I will probably share notes with you when I'm done here. What might be of some use to your guild back home.
Oh yeah, any new way I could juice up some of my little knickknacks.
I'm so curious. Like, I mean, if Scribbler says it's a cakewalk, then I'll just like peek around, just be like,
peek around and look in the mirror.
Oh yeah. It's like, what is that?
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you see all the things.
I see him walking up.
Yep.
Oh, bless. And I know his name, so I can do the little reaction thing.
You do, and oh my god, the verbal component of bless being bless is everything. Is everything. I love it. Okay. So, we've already figured out you're welcome to make the Intelligence Arcana check if you like, Charity, to figure out that the tower is Mephistar. But more importantly, you're going to need to make that intelligence saving throw.
Yeah, the Arcana was like a 14.
Okay, you have no idea what it is. But you do get the D4 for your saving throw, your intelligence saving throw.
Hence why I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, he's going to need help.
They gonna need it.
So we all know how
Oh no. Charity.
me and intelligence saving throws go.
Charity.
So I'm gonna burn my inspiration.
Okay. Yep.
My
Do the
DM
thing.
inspiration.
Yep. Do the thing.
So from what once was a 6
Oh, buddy.
is now a 13.
Okay, that is
And
better.
Is that
Plus
with your
2 for
D4?
bless.
Oh, it's a 15.
Dean.
Plus
Better and
0
better.
for my intelligence.
Better and better. Not good enough. So,
Nope,
Oh,
never
no.
is.
Charity.
Never is.
Charity looks in the mirror, and Charity's reflection, their sort of haggard, dead-eyed, frozen reflection, just looks right at Charity, and everything is fine. And then the reflection lets out a deep smile, and Charity, you feel this wash of cold to your very core, and you just completely freeze up, and you are stunned for some time, forced to gaze into your frozen reflection's eyes.
There's a solid chance I might not realize that anything's wrong with
Yeah.
Charity.
You're welcome to make a wisdom insight check if you would like to see how much you notice.
I mean, it's Charity
Right.
staring at their
Staring at themselves.
reflections.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this seems kind of,
Half of the
on
course,
scan product for charity.
Nope.
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 Excellent. Okay.
really. No.
I rolled a
Phenomenal.
2 on the die.
Man, you're critting everything in that.
I mean,
Scribbler,
that's a total of 8. to be
Right.
clear, but
Right.
still.
you're far too busy watching as this creature that's been flying towards the mirror is getting closer and getting larger and sort of becoming a little clearer and easier to see. And you can see now that this creature that's flying towards you is in fact a Cambion. Which you all have been in the hells long enough, and we don't need another check for this. You all know, or at least you do, Scribbler, at this point, know that Cambions are the sort of half-breed equivalent, usually a fiend and a humanoid. Succubus or an incubus usually is the parent of a Cambion, but not always. But they are a little more infernal than tieflings, also being half fiend, half humanoid, and are often serve more powerful. Sometimes their parents, sometimes not, but more powerful fiends. And this Cambion flies up and approaches the mirror, and they very gracefully sort of set themselves down and cross their arms and just stare into the mirror and look to you all. And as they do, you really get a good look at this creature's face, Scribbler, and their skin is cadaver blue, and their face is frozen in this horrifying scream, and they just sort of stare at the two of you for a moment, and then they reach down, and out of seemingly nowhere they pull up a kettle that is just steaming mightily in the frozen air on their side of the mirror, and they pour what appears to be boiling water over their face, and the face begins to regain some of its color, sorry, and you see them sort of work their jaw, and at least for the moment, you can already see the blue creeping back, but for the moment, their face appears to have thawed enough for it to move, and for the Cambion to say, "Well, it's been some time. New friends, welcome and hello."
Greetings and salutations.
Hello? Who are you?
And in the time that it took for you all to respond to this Cambion, their face froze again in that sort of pained, anguished, screaming rictus. And that'll happen in between each utterance from this Cambion. They'll have to thaw themselves back out again. They don't seem to. I mean, it's part of like they're very smooth about the whole thing, but it's really quite horrifying to watch their face freeze in between every time they speak. So just
I've
imagine
got my
that
back
every
turned to
time.
this mirror.
Yes, I assume that Imba and Evie have not yet gone up to see what's going on, and if that's not true, please let me know.
No, I have been
Imba's
informed
just-
that I can't punch it.
Right.
That's not my. I don't care.
What was that, Imba?
I was gonna say I'm just sitting on the bike, like I'm trying to like adjust my goggles to get like a look from where I'm at.
Uh-huh.
But they're talking to somebody.
Charity's just unmoving, just like from like around the bike, just like.
Is there a reason why Charity is still looking themselves in the mirror?
They're charity.
Charity
At this
is-
point, nothing seems odd, and the stun will only last for a minute. At which point, we'll get back to you, Charity, and you'll be able to move again. In the meantime, however, the Cambion continues to thaw its own face out as it says, "My name is Rigorath. I am an emissary of." And they sort of turn to Mephistar the tower and gesture, and says, "My master, Mephistopheles. And you? Who might all of you be?"
Hi, I'm Evie.
Oh, my name is Julius. This is Imba.
Wait. Is Evie up there?
No, Evie's hearing this, but with
Oh,
back
okay.
turned.
Yeah.
Still back, so just sort of yelling over.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Just making sure.
It's like I'm Evie.
That's
I'm often referred to as Scribbler.
I love that sentence.
No.
Anyone else want to introduce themselves? Julius,
I'm
did you
Juli-
introduce yourself because you're
yes,
there?
Yes, I'm Julius. This is Charity. Introduces. Oh, whatever.
And at about that moment, Charity, you come out of the stun, and the chill leaves your body, and as Julius is saying, "Introduce yourself."
Introduce yourself, Charity.
What? Oh, hi. Charity.
That's Charity.
Rigorath sort of lingers on you, Charity, as you introduce yourself for just a second longer, and thaws themselves again. And it's quite horrifying because when they are speaking to you, they're quite convivial and all smiles and somewhat enticing. But every time their face freezes, it's in that horrible screaming, agonized rictus. So it's going back and forth. And Rigorath says, "Well, it is truly a pleasure to meet each of you. What brings you here, might I ask?"
We seek the rods of adamantite.
Oh. I would ask for what, and yet my master has no need to know that. They had a feeling someone might come looking.
I imagined that as knowledgeable as a archduke must be, they are aware of the uses of such a thing.
And indeed, he is, though he has no interest in discussing whatever it is you might need, simply that he offers you a deal.
Yes.
A
Let us
deal?
discuss, please. I'm no stranger to these things.
What kind of deal exactly?
A simple deal. Nothing out of the ordinary or unusual for one as powerful as my master. My master will provide the item you require. He will procure it and provide it. In exchange, my master has need of your services.
Oh, well, this seems to be
Unerringly so,
normal.
apparently.
Yeah.
Yes.
A simple matter. You see, there is a chasm, a rather nasty little chasm filled with slime, and into it spills the river Styx. My master simply requests that you find a way to dam up the Styx and stop it from spilling into this chasm, and in exchange, he will provide the item you seek.
Where might this chasm be?
Not far from here, just a little ways to the south.
Well,
Damming up a chasm to stop the river Styx from flowing into it.
Indeed.
I mean, this seems simple
Interesting.
enough, I suppose.
As I said,
With-
a very simple, straightforward pact that my master wishes to enter into.
simple and straightforward.
Simple and very straightforward.
Indeed.
Guess it's
I'm
a
no
really
stranger
damned
to
if you
these
will,
things.
damned if you won't situation.
Well, yes, it is indeed clear and simple and straightforward. There may be some difficulty in justifiably assigning it to the epithets you have applied to this statement, inasmuch as the precise correlation between the information you have communicated and the facts, insofar as can be determined and demonstrated, is such that it could cause epistemological problems of such sufficient magnitude to lay upon a logical and semantic resources of the common language heavier burden than they can reasonably be expected to bear.
I'll go ahead and make an intelligence check. I'll go ahead and make an intelligence. No, the Cambion has no idea what the fuck you just said. So, he rolled a 3. But he's going to nod very politely throughout, and when you're done, say, "Fantastic. Was that a yes?"
I believe that's what he said was yes. We have the same feelings.
If the
We don't know.
If the concern is the how-to, I suppose I might be persuaded to provide you with some assistance at your task.
Oh, yes. What kind of assistance?
Well, you being the mortals that you are, I understand the dangers that the river poses to you all. So perhaps these. And he sort of snaps his fingers, and a little imp, a blue imp, appears next to him with a sort of satchel tied around its tiny little waist, and it reaches into the satchel and pulls out 5 of these sort of funny-looking sticks, and Rigorath sort of gestures to them very a la Vanna White, and they say, "These shatter sticks are sure to do the job if placed well. I'll happily provide them to you."
Shatter sticks.
Moment. At what cost to us?
They are a minor convenience for you, and so for the assistance, I will personally simply require a minor favor to be determined at some point in the future from you. Now, to be very clear, this would be a deal that you and I enter into. This has nothing to do with my master.
I don't believe that would be necessary now, would it? Unless, of course. And
Actually, I'm fairly capable of casting the required magics. But
What
thank you
do
for
these
thinking.
shatter sticks do exactly, though?
Well, they shatter rock. You set them, and you are able to, once you set them off, they provide a lovely little explosion.
There's
Oh.
a
I
right.
slowly look it
Imba,
over.
Imba,
I look
did
at
you hear that?
it when they describe the shatter sticks as such.
Oh, Imba.
Oh,
We'll be back.
What was that, Imba?
I was gonna. If I overheard that, I would have been like, "I got no problem making an explosion, honey."
No, we don't need such trivial assistance, but we appreciate your offer.
As you wish, as you wish. I'm sure you're more than capable of providing the service my master requires, with or without my help. Shall I draw up the terms?
I'd like some boomsticks.
Sure, yeah, of course. Draw up the terms. Scribbler, would you like to draw up ours?
You would like me to write up a contract?
Oh, there's no need. I've got that taken care of. And they sort of take their
here we
hand
go.
and brush it down the mirror, and the terms of this deal, the contract, as it were, begin to etch themselves into the mirror itself.
I think Scribbler should be the one to
Scribbler,
sign the
let's
contract.
you and
Let
I
me
eyeball
revise
a
this.
bit, please.
Yeah,
I'm
let's-
shocked to hear that you have issues with the terms.
Yes,
And
I
I'm going to I'm going to give a bardic inspiration to our friend here as
Okay.
I help him to decipher the contract, as it were.
Okay. So, Scribbler, you want to just have a look at it? Is there anything in the terms that he's spoken aloud so far that you take issue with, or you want to look over the contract first?
I'll look over the contract.
Okay. Why don't you make an intelligence investigation check for this one?
Okay. And bardic inspiration is what, a D4?
D6.
D6 at this point.
D6.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So that's a problem.
Uh-oh. How bad? Because...
I rolled a natural 1.
Oh, okay.
Wait. You do have your DM inspiration.
I do. I think I'll use that.
It feels like maybe the moment.
Yes. It's like, no.
He didn't roll great, I will go ahead and tell you, but he rolled better than a natural 1, so...
A total of 21.
Okay, so there is the language in the deal is exactly as he
Oh,
laid
sorry,
out.
I was reading the wrong line.
Oh.
I was looking at intimidation for some reason.
Oh,
so
so
a
something-
total of 28.
There it is. So the deal is basically as Rigorath stated, except that the language about the services that you will render leaves it a bit open-ended, and it sort of reads that the business that you have to do will always deal with the river Styx, but that you won't have actually fulfilled your part of the deal until Mephistopheles has personally confirmed that the job was done to his satisfaction, and that he will be the final arbiter of whether or not the job was satisfactorily completed.
I will provide a revised documentation in short order with terms that are much more closed in their interpretation, so that whether he shows up and inspects it or not, we will get we will be considered to have completed the contract.
Got it.
How to phrase it, allowing for the assumption of completion unless or until the other parties come to dispute the charge, in which case they must appear themselves to inspect the work, or simply accept the assumption of completion.
Oh, okay. I like it. I like it a lot. So Rigorath sort of nods rather respectfully at the change and says, yes, I can see how that is more in line with the deal we discussed. I suppose my master will accept those revised terms. Since we are negotiating, my master has access to untold power. Is there aught else that perhaps you desire that we could discuss now? Oh.
I'm yelling over at Scrivener, and a war card. See if you can get us a war card. A war card, Scribbler.
Can your master free the city that is being pulled into our realm?
That's not what I asked.
Rigorath sort of thinks for a moment and says, what you ask is by far within the realm of my master's power, and yet you ask much, for to do so would interfere with another archdevil's domain. To interfere with events on Avernus would risk the wrath of Zariel. Now, to be very clear, my master would be able to handle the upstart fallen angel if anything were to come to pass, but it would be quite the inconvenience for him. He may be able to help you, but I tell you now, the price will be deliciously high.
I understand. He's afraid. We will see to this task.
The imp that is still sort of sitting there that had the shatter sticks at the he is afraid, the imp sort of gets all all upset and
Uppity.
just sort of bristles and begins to sort of say something, and Rigarath just sort of grabs him by the wing and shakes him a little bit, and the little it just sort of grumbles and growls, but says nothing. So the Cambion says, "As you wish. In that case, if the terms of our deal are to your satisfaction."
As I have revised them, yes.
Indeed. In that case, he sort of brushes his hand across the terms again, and they sort of duplicate and split into two chunks near the edge of the mirror. And they're exactly identical, both of them. You can read them over and double check, but they're both exactly identical, and they are the terms that you all agreed to. And Rigarath says, "That one there on your left, chisel that off of the mirror if you would."
I'll walk over. All right, fine. And I'll pull out my sword and I'll just start.
So it's, considering that this ice is able to withstand the heat of Avernus, this chunk of it comes away fairly easily. The other thing that you'll notice is, like, your sword is not exactly a precise carving tool, but the chunk that ends up coming out is sort of perfectly formed to surround the words. And as it comes free, it's very, very cold in your hands, but seemingly not supernaturally so. And Rigarath thaws his face once more and says, "Fantastic. Melt that into a container, and then you, good sir," and they indicate Scribbler, "shall drink it to seal the bargain."
Imbibe the contract.
Wow. That's pretty hardcore.
So I'm going to do an Arcana check to see if I can figure out if that will have any negative effects on me.
Sure.
I lean over to Evie. I'm like, I guess they really want him to eat his words.
Evie kind of, like, you can see
26.
the math brain.
It doesn't seem like it. From what you know, it's hard to tell in terms of this magic, but from what you know of sort of infernal deals, once the terms have been set, they're usually pretty upstanding about, like, not tossing in other terrible things. So if the Cambion says this is just how you seal the deal, then it's probably just how you seal the deal.
All right.
Lawful evil.
Mm-hmm.
Putting the lawful in lawful evil.
I'll empty out my water skin and I'll try and start to, like, find a way to try and melt it at its edges to oh wait, prestidigitation can make, like,
I was gonna say, are you not like a half?
I am very, very hot. I am entirely very, very hot.
You could
So
make
I'll just
the
kind of,
chunk
like,
of ice
hold it.
hurt you and then cast Hellish Rebuke on it.
You could do that. You just hug it really, really hard. You just hug it, let your natural body heat kick in.
Wait,
Jared,
oh my
just,
god,
like,
wait,
wraps
hold
the
on. I'll just, like, put a finger down through it and, like, make a little, like, ice flu.
We worked out how to
we can
turn
do
it
with
into water.
shots.
Like, I spent another 5 minutes trying to figure out how to drink this thing.
The Cambion, Rigarath just sort of watches in horror as this seemingly simple task becomes the work of far too many individuals.
And Scribbler's in the back just.
But eventually,
Come on, drink up. Let's go.
eventually
Come
you
on.
manage to collect
Put your
it.
mouth to it. Let's go. Come on.
I drank
Has
it
anyone
without
got a final?
any hesitation.
All right. So it's the water is extremely cold, and as you finish it, you feel just in the pit of your stomach this sort of, like, kernel of cold that sort of resides there. It's a little uncomfortable, but otherwise not problematic in any way. But it just sort of sits there. This little kernel of chill sits down in your gut. And the Cambion thaws themselves and smiles and says, "Excellent. In that case, I believe our deal here is done. You may return here once you have completed our master's part of the bargain, and I shall return with the rod that you have requested."
Wonderful. Thank you.
Why don't I send you a little guide so as to hurry things along? And
I think we'll find it. No?
As you wish.
Then
This one is a
just send them with
freebie on
links.
me, if you like.
Oh, if it's a freebie, that's the best price.
No. Why?
I
Why
like
add
free stuff.
I like free stuff.
Yes, but why add another mouth to feed here?
We're not gonna feed it.
Who's not gonna feed it?
We don't even feed ourselves.
I turn back to Captain Julius, and I'm just like,
While this is...
like there are actual flames in the eyes now.
While you all are discussing this, Rigorath has sort of drawn a little rune on the surface of the mirror, and the imp, they took the satchel off of the imp, and the imp has just sort of flown headfirst at the mirror through the rune that the Cambion drew, and appeared in the cave with you all. And Rigorath sort of says, "Take him or don't. He is there for your as a guide for you, should you desire his assistance."
Hey, I'm Evie.
Right.
I'm going to make a note of the rune that they drew.
Yeah, go ahead and make an intelligence arcana check.
Okay.
I'm gonna start like chipping ice off of the mirror and like dumping it into my water skin.
Hey, thanks for the follow, Sarvaith. Yeah, as you go and try and chip more of the mirror off, this ice all of a sudden is very hard and resists your sword almost completely. Like, you go to town and really leave no marks at all. What was that check, Scribbler?
Yeah, it wasn't as great a check. I only got a 22.
So it was a it looked like a similar form of the spell Misty Step. Super simple, rather relatively low grade spell. It was modified ever so slightly in such a way that it seemed to sort of tap into the power of the mirror itself, to modify it in a way that created sort of a spatial link between the two sides of the mirror, so that the distance restriction on Misty Step was sort of not exactly overcome, but dealt with in that way.
Sidestepped.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thing. Devils just like finding loopholes in spells. I like that idea a lot. That sounds really okay. Sorry, DM brain just turned on and gears started turning. Anywho,
I mean, that could still be charity brain.
True, it could be.
So the little imp sort of is hovering, looking expectantly, sort of every now and again tossing dirty stares at Scribbler, who insulted his master some time ago, but not making any moves otherwise. Rigorath sort of nods one more time and says, "As I said, use him as a guide if you will. If not, he'll return to me on his own. Be well, and I look forward to seeing you all again once the deed is done."
This little one, they are to be put under our thumb, as it were. Yes.
Good luck trying. They'll happily guide you to where you need to be. Beyond that, I'm not sure what you'll be able to get him to do for you, but you can certainly try.
What's your name, little buddy?
The imp sort of glares at the five of you, and he says, "Rump."
Your name's what?
Glares at Captain Julius. "You heard me. My name is Rump."
Is it
Like
short?
RUMP.
Is it short for something?
Have a
Scribbler.
prop. You see the imp's sort of tail sort of cock up above his head, and he says, "Why? Do you have a problem with my name?"
No, I have no problem with your name. It's a really unique and wonderful name.
Hi, I'm Evie.
No, I'm Julius. It's Evie. You know?
It was the bottom of the barrel here. Huh?
Eugenio?
Yeah. Oh, wisdom save, yes.
I look at it and go, yes. What is your name?
Uh-huh.
Is your name?
I think he
Bottom. My name is Bottom. Okay.
probably
No,
fair.
I got it.
My name is Buck.
Yeah, that's only an 11. That's only an 11. So,
Cheeks.
so
Cheeks.
somewhat surprisingly and perhaps upsettingly, the creature's true name is in fact Rump.
Buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Real bottom of the barrel here, huh?
Okay,
We're
all
just-
right.
boy.
You're all fired.
Wow.
Oh,
Guys, we
boy.
need to
Just
stop
call
being
him Sweet
assholes.
Cheeks.
We really need to stop being assholes.
Rump just sort of crosses his little arms and says, "Are we going or not?"
We sure are, sweet cheeks.
He turns around and is like, "Rigorath, can I please?" But Rigorath has already flown off back towards Mephistar.
I hope you can keep up with this thing, little buddy. And I like start revving the engine.
Rump sort of
just peel out.
Rump flies over to the bike and for the first time looks sort of excited about the mission and he sort of like does a lap of the bike, sort of looking at it closely and
Oh,
and
you're
getting
not
a sense
riding
for all
on
of
it.
it.
Just peel out.
Yeah, he has. You're welcome to peel out. He's supposed to be your guide, so there is that. But
Yeah.
you do what you want.
Well,
But he seems
was-
sort of
he was
excited by the
told
bike.
to be our guide.
Well, that's
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it too. And I pat the side.
Let's
he
off,
starts
shall
he
we?
starts asking Imba a ton of questions about like the power behind the bike and how fast she's managed to drive it so far and you know how efficient she thinks her fuel has been. So just all of these like fairly technical questions about the bike. He is very excited about the bike.
Aw.
Oh,
You
she
want to
was
see how fast this
getting
thing
up
can
the
go?
Yeah, I think Imba is willing to have this conversation. Like
Yeah,
she said,
she is.
she's into it. So that goes on for a little while, and eventually Rump says, "Right, anyway, this way," and flies off to the south, away from the mouth of the cave.
All right, and assuming everyone is, back on the piece of metal that's behind the bike, she's just gonna take off after
Like,
him.
all right.
Yeah.
As we all get settled in, I'm gonna be like, all right, consensus on offing this little one. Yes, yes, yes.
I like him.
No, Sweet Cheek seems kind of nice.
I kind of grown fancy to the little guy.
All right, hold on, I need to make a
Yeah.
perception check for this poor guy. All right, he for sure hears that and goes, "I can hear you."
Was meant for you to hear. Yes.
Fair enough, I
Yes.
Ow.
guess.
I like him.
I like the little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of spunk.
I've been called worse.
Oh no.
Oh,
So
we're supposed to be the bad ones.
look,
You're in hell.
that's right.
They're all the bad ones.
Thank you. That's right. All right. So Rump sort of guides you a little ways, and eventually you get to yet another like sort of dune or hill, and you crest it. And on the other side, a little ways ahead of you, this rift, as far as the eye can see in either direction, just slashes across the surface of Avernus. It looks, from where you are sort of on the top of this rise, you can see fairly deep down into it, and it doesn't end anytime soon. It must be at least a mile deep, if not more. You can't really make out the bottom of it from where you are, but every now and again you'll see sort of a splash come up from deep down in the rift, and this sort of green, slimy, viscous liquid comes sort of shooting up in large droplets every now and again. You can see nearby there's a cliff where the tributary of the Styx cascades down into this rift. Let's see. I think that's all you can see from where you are now. But at that moment, Scribbler, the map begins to speak again and says, "Ho-ho! Here you find a sticky situation. Poor Shumrath isn't the fiend it used to be."
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna ignore him. I'm gonna ignore him. I'm gonna ignore it.
What did you just call this one?
Rump turns around and sort of gestures for you and flies down the opposite side of the hill and towards the chasm. And that's where we're going to finish off this week as you all approach the pit of Shumrath. Hey, all right. So we got you some rods this week. It was a doin', but you managed to get 2 more. You're up to a third of the way complete with those things.
Heck yeah.
You didn't meet the NPC you were expecting to, but you found his lair at the very least.
We'll be back.
Yeah, that was.
I have no doubt. And what else? It was an exciting week. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Everybody that's been hanging out, we so appreciate you. We appreciate the new follow from Rivals, and all of you who are here in the chat or lurking about. We appreciate all of you. Let's go around and do some outros. Let us know who you are, who you played, where we can find you on the interwebs, and one of your favored moments from today's stream. Let's see. We did that direction, so we're going to start with Wally for this one.
Hello, my name is Wally, he, him pronouns. I play Julius, also he, him pronouns. You can find me on the Twitter with Wally132. Oh boy, one of my favorite moments today. I think it has to be the slow, degradation of Charity's sanity and tolerance towards Julius. I am loving it so much. It's some of my great stuff. It's like Mike has been doing some really great stuff with Charity lately, and this episode has been some great stuff with him.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. All right, coming back around to Mike.
Hey guys, I'm Mike. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me on the interwebs at Enzo Michael on Twitter and at Mike What the Hell on Instagram. And my favorite moments. Ooh, Boise. I would have to say when Scribbler was on the bike and just kind of ballooned there for a moment. And I'm just like, hold on. Turns around, just like, come on now. Back down to earth, you. Let's go.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
Oops. Hey, thanks for the follow, God King Zool. Appreciate you. Alex.
Hello, I am Alex. You can find me on the interwebs at Alex Catu. I played Evie. I think my favorite moment from tonight, look, it's got to be Charity failing yet another intelligence saving throw.
Yes.
And nobody noticing. That's 2 for 2.
Really, really good. Yeah, and the effects of that one and the repercussions from failing that one are definitely all done now. All right, Jeremiah.
I don't like the sound of that. I don't like that at all.
So I'm Jeremiah McCoy. I play Scribbler. He, him pronouns. I am on the Twitter, and I have a website, and I'm on the Tome Show and various other things. My favorite moment is actually probably, watching Charity have the reaction to Captain Julius that Scribbler has to Charity most of the time. Scribbler is very refined, so of course he's not going to show how angry he gets. Charity apparently is not that refined.
At least not on the pun score.
Yeah, because Charity, they will actually be very clear how frustrated and how much they want to strangle Julius. That and the failed intelligence save, and everybody just assumed that Charity was
That was so great.
enraptured with themselves in the mirror.
That was perfection, I have to say.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Played that one off better myself.
And Imba.
Hi, so I'm Dobbs. You can find me just about anywhere at Dobbsmosis. I play Imba, the crazy little mad scientist goblin, and my father-in-law is standing behind me.
Oh, hi there. Hi, Dad-in-law.
Hi, Dad-in-law.
I would say my favorite moment was the fact that we rolled up on the tower. that turtle came out, spoke in that deep voice, and pretty much we were just like, nope. Bye. I mean, and after some discussion, but we were basically like, nope. Okay, bye.
Okay.
This is a silly space asleep.
I love it.
That's a dragon. Let's not.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Once again, my name's Eugenio, also sometimes known as your friendly neighborhood Dungeon Master DM Jazzy Hands. You can follow me on the Twitters at DM Jazzy Hands. You can also follow my actual play podcast, The Last Refuge, on Twitter at DND Last Refuge. And man, favored moment. I have to say, I had a lot of them this week, but this is one that I've been meaning to acknowledge for a while now because it happens at least once a week, which is the moments in which Evie is not directly involved in whatever's happening and just chimes in to tell us how she's cleaning her weapons or you know, checking out her armor. They just are so completely out of the blue, and I love them.
It's so good.
I love those moments. So good. Fantastic. Once again, thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you haven't already, and we've had 3 new ones so far this session, which is awesome, but hit the follow button at the top of the screen to follow the channel. We are now at 991, so we only need 9 more followers by the new year to hit 1,000. And hey, there's one more. Thanks, EVE Online. That puts us at 992. So we are very, very close. And thanks for the cheer, SkiBy69. We appreciate you. You all are awesome. We love doing this every week. Just to clarify, since I realize that I usually don't say this at the ends, but we are live every Saturday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Time, 1:30 a.m. Australia Eastern Time. Is that right? What is the name of your time zone?
Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
Australian Eastern Daylight. It is a 1:30. Was I right?
Yeah.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you. We are thrilled to be able to do this for you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your support. Thanks for following. You should also follow the channel on Twitter at @VariantRolls. We also tweet out whenever we're going live. And also when we're looking for new cast members, for new shows that are coming up, those will go out via the Twitter. So you should follow the account there as well. We will be back. We will be back next Saturday morning, same time, same place. It will be a little different. I will be missing, as will Dobbs. Yes, Dobbs and I will be missing. So next week, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We have guest DM Victoria Rogers, member of the Variant Roles community and also the DM for the actual play podcast, The Broadswords. She's going to be taking over this crew for the week and sending them on a little day trip to the spa before they continue on with their adventures here at the Pit of Shumrath. So I'm very excited to find out what shenanigans Victoria has in store for all of you. So that'll be next week. I will be back. Dobbs and I will be at PAX Unplugged next Saturday. So if any of you are going to be in Philadelphia next weekend, be sure to drop Dobbs and I a line and let us know so that we can say hi. We'll be back to our normal main quest line the following Saturday, and we will move forward from there. You're all fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Am I missing anything? I think that covers it all. Thanks so much for hanging out. Happy gaming, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Happy gaming.
Oh, we should raid someone, shouldn't we? Because that's a thing that we do here. Great. Who do we want to raid? Who's live right now? We got Sir Lucian. We got the Greyhawk channel. We got, and then if we don't, or if we want to get, what's that?
Greyhawk's always good.
We could do Greyhawk, or if we want to do Stardew Valley, we could go over to Grant Ellis's channel.
Oh, let's go say hi to Grant.
Should we say hi to Grant this week?
Let's go say hi to Grant.
All right, so if you're in for something a little bit different, not tabletop role-playing, but a little bit of Stardew Valley, we're going to head over to Wise Papa Grant's channel. He just recently acquired the Stardew Valley game and has been playing it quite a bit. Whoops. Oh, what did I do? I got rid of the raid. Not good at this, y'all. So if you want to join us there, you are totally welcome. We'll be heading over there in just about 10 seconds. Yeah, okay. In just about 10 seconds. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 a.m. Australia Standard Daylight Time. Happy gaming.
And we're raiding.